Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. We got a scandal, potentially. I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Iowa Wrestling, Iowa State gambling scandal. The story has cracked, and there are potential suspensions out for some major, big time wrestlers. So we're gonna speculate a little bit. None of this is entirely confirmed by the teams themselves, but if this happens to be true, then this is going to be very interesting for the upcoming season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, isn't Pinero Johnson, Iowa State, the only one that's like 100% lockdown confirmed? Like there's no question he was involved. It's just a matter of what kind of punishment he's getting.
They've named Pinero. He's the first guy that like we know for sure, like you said, is out. And like we said, there's others that have been named but not confirmed. I'm actually looking for the list now.
Yeah, I remember Kobe Seabrick, Iowa was one. He was an NCAA qualifier. Then you had Abe Assad, Tony Cassioppi, and you also had
Nelson Brands.
Nelson Brands, the coach's son/nephew.
That's two All-Americans with Cassiope and Nelson Brands.
Yeah, well, and two NCAA qualifiers and then two All-Americans. Like, yeah, that's pretty impactful because that's
Yeah.
if especially if it gets confirmed that those four were involved and then that those four are going to get like suspended, like what kind of suspension? I know that they've been throwing out there may only be partial season, it may be full season. And if it's a full season suspension, like do they just lose their eligibility after that, or like is it gone?
So what I saw was that it's going to be a full season of eligibility, and they lose the eligibility. There's no coming back. It's not like, hey, like say a red shirt year. That's why like this Olympic red shirt is so important right now. Is that these guys might be able to try to like dodge it. He's saying, oh, I'm going to redshirt this year. But the NCAA is not, not a bunch of dummies. They're going to say, hey, like, you can redshirt, but you're still not getting this eligibility back.
Yeah, that would be because like Tony Cassioppi for one, if he lose, this is his only year eligibility left, so like he'd just be done.
And then it also begs the question, like, okay, let's say we, Cass is gone, and we go with the Ben Keeter route. It's still not even sure if he's going to do wrestling. I mean, football season just started. He's doing football. We know that.
Right. Yeah.
Real question is, hey, if he doesn't wrestle, like a lot of people think he's not going to, and they lose Cass, what's going to happen?
Oh, a lot of people think he's not going to wrestle. I've seen him get interviewed, talk about how he's going to wrestle. Like,
I've heard a lot of people, even Flo was like, oh, we're really not sure.
That'd be devastating for Iowa if they lost Cooter and Cass.
Yeah.
Well,
like the implications of this are huge.
I'm going to say something. I actually don't think I mean, they're losing a lot, granted, but I think they're actually going to be in better position than you might think at first notice of all this, because you look at it this way. Kobe Seabrick was their 157 pounder returner.
Yeah.
He's already being replaced by Jared Franek, who's an All-American last year. Franiac, yeah. Then at 165, you have Mikey Caliendo, who's also an All-American. You could bump up Pat Kennedy to slot in for Nelson Brands at 174. Right. And then for 184, how about this? How about Gabe Arnold?
Okay, to take out for Abe Assad, right.
I do want to see Gabe Arnold wrestle Starachi after he called him out.
Yeah, that if he's up a weight, then that's not gonna happen. Well, but then I mean, then I guess they would just leave a hole for Iowa at heavyweight if Cooter didn't materialize after football season, and then if Cass was out. So yeah, that's actually that's not as bad as initially you'd think.
I mean, it's bad, but
Yeah,
that just goes to show the depth at Iowa.
right.
I mean, as much as people like to hate on Iowa and say like, "Oh, the dynasty over," blah blah blah. Like they still won a national championship. They still took like second. They still took third in the nationals. It's not like they're like, "Oh, look how bad they are." And I'm a Penn State fan. I love Iowa in the sense of like I think they're great for the sport. Um, I do feel like they're kind of like ancient in their training methods, and the sport's kind of evolving past them. You know, you're seeing the Penn State guys rise up more and more and more. But Iowa's no slouch. You're not like, oh, thank God I'm wrestling Iowa today. Like,
No, and I don't even think
Especially not at
Iowa
Carver.
will figure out how to win still.
I don't even think Iowa's placed like below top 5 in like recent history.
Yeah, I think it's been over like 10 to 15 years since they've been below top 5.
I think the expectation is like, oh, the Gable dynasty, we need to win every year. And things have shifted into the Kale dynasty where they're winning every year. It's hard to kind of beat that.
And then years ago, it was the Oklahoma dynasty. Ebbs and flows, you know.
This was, I mean, of course, it was wrestling and football and some other sports. I think there was some other sports.
Yeah, there's multiple sports involved, but so far the only names that have surfaced in any way, shape, or form have been the ones that we listed, with the 4 Iowa guys and then the 1 Iowa State guy. Although they make it sound like there's more than just them involved, so there could be others.
Same topic. I've heard, not again, no names named, but 5 Iowa State guys have been anonymously, involved. Where they're not going to name them, but that could be very not good for Iowa State, who has right now, I feel, the advantage in the Cy-Hawk duel.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, could you imagine if like someone like David Carr was involved? And
oh my God,
that would be bonkers.
He's too pure of a person.
That'd be not good.
I just can't believe like Nelson Brands, the coach's son, is literally like involved in this. Like, how do you?
Of course he is.
How do you embarrass yourself like that? That's so bad.
I mean, yeah. One end you're kind of surprised, and the other end you're like, I'm actually not surprised. It's the coach's son. Of course, he's going to be a little bit pushing the boundaries or doing something he's not supposed to. I kind of want to see this get confirmed, or at least, or if after getting confirmed or unconfirmed, what kind of suspensions they actually, or what kind of punishment they actually end up getting.
Well, that's the other thing too, because part of the news story that had broke was that all the wrestlers involved had filed appeals. So then there's a whole appeal process. So right. who knows how long that's going to take?
Exactly.
It's got to. What takes precedence, the appeal or the punishment? Like if the suspension, because like the season's going to start. The appeal has to be, I feel like, resolved before the season.
I found the list.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
All right, so, again, if you guys know, like, Pat Mineo on Twitter or around, he's always, like, on top of these, like, breaking news stories, kind of, like, gets them out first before a lot of other people. But some people say, because he's always so quick to it, he doesn't always have all the facts. And I don't know that for sure. But he said some names, and he named some names. And the names he said, well, we are not confirming this. We're also not denying. Were Tony Cassioppi, Nelson Brands, Abe Assad, and Kobe Seabrook. Like we talked about, had full suspensions for the season. But additionally, Shriver and Kennedy had partial suspensions and will miss matches.
Oh, yeah. So they might not even.
All these wrestlers have filed appeals, like we said. Just like Jack was saying, who knows how the appeal process will actually go.
So that kind of thwarts my Pat Kennedy at 174, but I'm pulling for a Gabe Arnold. I want to see Gabe Arnold wrestle Starachi.
Well, if these suspensions are in play, Gabe Arnold definitely could be in the mix, especially at 174. if
He'll
Kennedy's got a
probably
partial suspension?
But I could see Gabe Arnold at 74 or 84. Honestly,
He's a big dude.
he is, and he's still growing. I mean, he's a true 18-year-old, I believe, as a high schooler, which is a crazy thing to have to say now to be like a true senior.
Yeah.
But or he's will be a true 18-year-old freshman. He's not. I don't think he's a holdback, so he's probably still growing.
Right, right.
Imagine if you have an Iowa wrestler who's in their senior year, he goes to do an Olympic red shirt, and then he gets a gambling red shirt. Like he wins the appeal process so that he gets to train. Well, he probably wouldn't get to train, but he'd be sticking around the wrestling scene for an additional year.
Just
I mean,
never
it's crazy.
graduate college, stay forever.
It's crazy.
It's so affordable,
It's so affordable, yeah, to be in there for almost a decade.
I always just think. I feel like we talked about this in the last video, or another one that we made. I always think of like Tommy Boy, where it's like a lot of people go to college for 8 years. And he goes, yeah, they're called doctors.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're going for their doctor.
This could have huge implications across Iowa and Iowa State. If I could add a personal opinion on this, I think that this should not be a thing. If you're 18 or older, like, you should be able to gamble. Especially, like, I don't have an issue with them if they're betting on their own team to be like, hey, like, I'm betting on my own success. Like, I think I'm going to win and I'm going to put money on it. Like, that's one thing. But it's another to be like, I'm going to bet against us because I know that I'm not going to play as hard and I'll win money because of it and I'll bring my team down. But if you're betting on yourself, that should be a whole, like, totally allowed. That should be fine to do. And I think the NCAA is wrong for that.
Well, the crazy thing is, I think they said they're not allowed to gamble on any NCAA sponsored events, including, I might be wrong on this, but including professional sporting leagues like NBA and stuff.
You might be right about that.
So that's basically all sports events. Like that's kind of all encompassing.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't gamble if you're in college and you go to Ireland.
I mean, I want to know, how did Pinheiro manage to have $45,000 worth of money to gamble?
Start small, win a lot, win a lot, win a lot. I mean,
yeah, I guess he must have been winning. Otherwise,
how to make smart investments. Like, if I was him, I'd be getting a business degree because he's got good business sense. But again, like, if he's betting on guys that it's like, hey man, I'm betting that Iowa State will be, will have this level of success, and they have that success. It's like, hey, that's awesome. Like, you're supporting your team, you're putting your money where your mouth is, literally. Like, I don't see an issue with that.
I think it goes into the issue of like, oh, you could collude with other people type of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a slippery slope. But what do you guys think about the implications from this? Will Iowa finish in the top 5 this year at the NCAA tournament? I still think they will. I
mean, that'd be pretty impressive if they were down those 4 guys and still managed to do it.
Yeah, I was like, if they lose all those guys and Ben Cooter doesn't come to Iowa to wrestle, besides he's just doing football, and they still take top 5, then man, those Brands brothers are earning that extension.
I think they will, because you got Franek, you got Caliendo, you got Real Woods. They'll put the team on their back. You just need some, Drake Ayala could make some waves at a newly dispersed 25. Who knows if Gabe Arnold's in there, he could maybe make some waves. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall.
So what do you guys think about the Iowa scandal? Drop a comment down below. What are your thoughts about it? And what do you think the punishment's going to be? Do you think this report is true? Do you have any inside information that you want to share with us? Feel free to drop it all in the comments down below.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.